It started with a casual chat over coffee. Three educators, Angela, Mark, and Shanita, sat around a small cafe table, laughing about classroom chaos and dreaming of the days when alarm clocks and grading wouldn't rule their lives. Retirement. It always felt like some distant idea. Angela, in her early 50s, had a countdown on her phone. Mark, just hitting 40, was more focused on his kids' college fund. Shanita, the youngest, admitted she hadn't even started saving yet. But as the conversation deepened, it became clear none of them had a clear picture of what they actually wanted retirement to look like. Retirement isn't just about saving enough to quit work, it's about creating a vision for how you want to live. It's about knowing what brings you joy, what kind of lifestyle you want, and how your money supports that life. Welcome back to Everything But the Lesson Plan, the show that helps educators thrive inside and outside the classroom. I am your host, Franchesca Thompson, and today we're talking about something many of us put on the back burner: retirement. But not just numbers, we're talking about the life you're building beyond the bell. Whether you're 25 or 55, retirement isn't just about saving. It's about vision, purpose, and freedom. Joining me today is financial expert Lisa Matthews. She helps people create meaningful retirement plans that go beyond dollar signs. She's here to help us think not just about when we can stop working, but how we want our lives to look when we do. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Lisa. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Francesca. I am doing absolutely lovely. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm just excited about our topic today. I think it's a much needed conversation. So I cannot wait to hear what you bring to the show. But first, before we start, where are you from? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am located in Florida, just maybe about an hour south of Daytona. And
Hmm.
so, a little bit about me is I am the CEO and co founder of Ask Bree and Lisa LLC. I am in business with my wife. And we are financial professionals, and we specifically specialize in helping individuals grow their money risk free and
Yes.
tax free through
Wow.
strategic retirement planning.
I love it. And so we're going to be talking about that today, retirement for educators. And so I'm excited that you have your knowledge that you're going to be able to share with us today. And so we're going to jump right into these questions because the teachers need to know. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. Teachers, I am ready for you to take notes. Okay. We're always the ones asking the students to take notes. Today is the day that you need to take notes and understand how you need to plan for your future. So, Lisa, most people think of retirement planning as saving money, just like I do, but you always say to start with a vision. Why is that so important?
That's a great question. So, when I sit with clients, the first thing I like to tell them actually is just to forget about the numbers. Just forget
Hmm.
about all of that for just a moment.
Okay.
I've seen so many people diligently save for decades, right? They hit their magic number and then they feel completely lost because they never ask themselves, what am I actually saving for? Right?
Mm,
You need to have your why. So,
yeah.
starting with the vision means asking yourself what you want your days to look like, right? Like, what brings you joy? Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? How do you want to spend your time? Because the thing is, if you envision traveling extensively, that's a very different financial plan than maybe just staying local and just volunteering, right? So the vision definitely drives the strategy, not the other way around.
And I'm glad you're saying it that way because I think all of us, well, educators, we are saving because it is one of those things where when we log into our systems, it's this. like saving calculator that's telling us the how much we need to save, and it's projecting what we're going to need for the future. But like on what terms, right? So what future is that calculator projecting? Because bring up a good point. Like, what do I want my future to look like? Where do I want to live? What size house am I going to live in? And will that projection that's in that calculator pay for that?
Exactly. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why having the vision is so important. So you know what you're actually saving for and working towards.
Yeah, I never thought about that until you just said that, ma'am. So now I'm like,
Well, I'm
oh my
here.
gosh, now I need to see what the projection is actually for.
Yeah, make
Is it
sure it
for a
makes
little
sense.
townhouse down in Decatur somewhere? And I'm like, no, I have a bigger vision than that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, teachers often stay in the profession longer due to pensions or late starts in the retirement savings. What unique planning challenges do educators find when thinking about retirement?
Teachers, they definitely face a really interesting paradox, if you will, right? So, on one hand, they often have access to pension systems that can provide a solid foundational income, which is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
But these systems can also create a false sense of security,
Mm,
right? So the challenges I see most often are first, teachers often start focusing on retirement savings later because they assume the pension will handle everything,
mm,
right? Second, many states have pension systems that are underfunded. So there's uncertainty about those future benefits.
yeah.
Right. And then third, teachers typically have lower salaries
Hmm.
during their peak earning years, which limits their ability to save beyond pension.
Hmm.
And so my advice would be to not put all your eggs in the pension basket. We always say that in finance, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So
Yeah.
start supplemental savings early, even if it's just small amounts, and really understand what your pension will and won't cover. That's very important.
So it's time for the teachers to kind of look at that pension system and do some research.
Yeah, not just assume that, like, hey, they got it. I'm just going to put my money here and I just trust it all to work out for me.
Yeah, okay, got it. So, what are some practical ways someone can begin to align their current lifestyle with the future lifestyle they want in retirement? Because, like me, I got some big dreams after retirement.
Right, right. Okay. All right. So this is where the rubber meets the road, right? So
Yeah.
I tell my clients to start living elements of their retirement now, right?
Oh.
Within reason. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to travel more in retirement, start taking smaller trips now and see what those costs are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then if you want to downsize, maybe start decluttering and see how you feel in smaller spaces. So, like, practically speaking, try budgeting for your envisioned retirement lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
with today's dollars.
Yeah.
So if that feels impossible, then maybe it tells you that maybe there's some adjusting that needs to be done. I wouldn't necessarily say adjust your vision. You just maybe need to start adjusting what you're saving, right? And then start developing hobbies and interests now that don't revolve around work, so you don't feel like, what am I doing now that I'm retired? I have no idea where.
Yeah. And I like that. We just we're about to become empty nesters in like 2 years, and to be honest, so we have two older kids who they're grown and gone, and so we have this
Uh,
one more left, right? And so me and my husband are just thinking about that. Like we're thinking about what are our hobbies going to be? What are we going to do? So I like that you say start now because will my hobby cost, a lot? I don't know.
Right.
So I need to plan for that. So I'm glad that you say that. That is very a good tip for us to do.
Exactly. I actually hear that a lot with the empty nesters. They kind of just
Hmm.
look around and they're like, well, what do I do next
Yeah,
now that
what am I
I
supposed to be
don't
doing?
have any other responsibilities?
And surprisingly, we're taking up pickleball. It's something me and my husband been together for over 20, yeah, over 20 something years. And
Oh,
we
blessings.
now are just figuring out a sport to do, which we both love pickleball. So
That's
uh,
great.
yeah, yeah. So we're in that pickleball club.
I'm here for it.
So, what role does mental and emotional preparation play in retirement? And how can someone prepare for the identity shift that comes with leaving their career?
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's
that's
a good
yeah.
question. Look, I got real goosebumps right
Hmm.
here. That's
Hmm.
a deep question.
Yeah,
And that's often really overlooked as far as the mental and emotional
yeah.
preparation. So I worked with clients who were financially ready to retire, but emotionally devastated by the loss of identity because a lot of
Yeah.
people sometimes identify themselves through their work,
Hmm.
right? So I always say, start asking yourself, who am I
Yeah.
outside of my job title? Right? What gives me purpose beyond my paycheck?
Hmm.
Begin building relationships and activities that aren't tied to your work, right? So, just like pickleball, for
Yes.
example, right?
Hmm.
Consider a gradual transition if possible, like I mentioned earlier, right? Like maybe do some consulting or part-time work in your field or volunteering in an area that you're passionate about. The
Yeah.
goal is to retire to something, not
Yeah.
from something.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So, just start trying to figure it out now. The things, especially with your mental health. I've seen so many teachers retire, and like you say, get depressed. A lot of them return back to work, and that doesn't suit them either, but they just feel like there's nothing else to do. So it's just time to kind of dig into some, self-discovery so you can figure out what it is you love. So great tip.
Absolutely, absolutely. I hear it all the time. People say, well, I'm just going to keep working because I can't just sit around and do nothing. Well, it's like
Yeah.
retirement doesn't have to be just sitting around and doing nothing. It can be
Yeah.
a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, that's good. So, what are three things listeners, no matter their age, and what keeps coming in my head, those Gen Zers, what can they do today to start moving toward a more intentional and fulfilling retirement?
Okay, that's a great question as well.
Mhm.
So first, like we started off this podcast, write down your retirement vision
Yeah.
in detail. Be detailed. There is no detail that is too small. If you say you want a house, describe what it is. Does it have blue shutters, a red door? Like get down to the nitty gritty, right? Not just say, oh, I want to be comfortable. Like paint that picture. What does that comfortability look like?
Hmm.
Right? And then second, calculate what you're currently saving across all vehicles, right? So 401k, pensions, TSPs, underneath your bed, wherever you may be saving, start, calculating that, right?
Yeah.
And then if there's a gap, if you see a gap, then maybe think, oh, maybe I need to increase my savings, maybe even just by 1%. See how you can close that gap,
Yeah.
right? And then third, I would just say start developing that one interest or start developing those relationships that have nothing to do with your career. So
Mhm.
you're not just like hit with, now that I'm here, I have no idea what to do and, get yourself into a dark place, like we mentioned, right? So the key is that retirement planning it's not just financial planning, right? It's life
Yeah.
planning. It's preparing you for life. There's some things that you can't be prepared for, like health scares, right? Like with my mom going through a health scare and then seeing that there was no savings, no nothing put in place, right? So it puts it really in perspective. It's not just for retirement, it's for life, right?
Yeah.
And money is just the tool to help actually build the life that you actually want.
Yeah, this is great. I got homework to do after this conversation because I just wasn't thinking about what the future looks like. I just know that there is a future, but now I need to figure out, can I afford that future? And then I love that your tips today included tapping into self-care, mental health, and all of those things. You can't leave that out. So I really do appreciate that.
Absolutely. It goes hand in hand, money, finances, mental health, physical health, it all correlates. So
Hmm.
if you're taking care of one aspect, you got to, take care of the others and everything else will fall in line.
Yeah. Well, definitely thank you for joining the show. Where can people find you?
They can find me on askbrianlisa.com. That's our website. You
Okay.
can also find me on Instagram, again, Ask Bri Lisa. I'm on Facebook, and we are also on LinkedIn, all under Ask Bri Lisa.
Okay. And I'm going to put that in the show notes. All right. Let's make sure I have that so that I can add that so that people can contact you.
Yep, yep, I got you.
All right, perfect. So, retirement isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. And as Lisa reminded us, it's not just about saving for the future, it's about shaping it. Whether your dream is to travel, you got passion projects, a second career, or finally writing that book, your vision matters and it starts now. A big thank you to Lisa Matthews for joining us and dropping so many gems. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Everything But the Lesson Plan. Until next time, plan boldly, live fully, thrive, and don't forget, you deserve a future that lights you up.
Yes.
Hey.